And here we go. So the structure fire Meridian Way, August 27th, 2024, came in very early morning. Initially came in as a commercial fire alarm, and then simultaneously was dispatched as a structure fire. And as we listened to the radio traffic and the 911 calls, you'll kind of understand as to why that happened. We were able to get some good video from inside from their security cameras, so you actually see the fire development. So some really cool stuff out of this incident. So again, it went from a commercial fire alarm quickly to a commercial structure fire. So this was our original one alarm. We ended up calling a second alarm on this, so it brought some special units as well. So Vent 21, which is out of Cincinnati, that's the giant van truck. That's the second time recently that truck's been here in Westchester. So it is an available unit that comes out of Cincinnati's west side. Then you can see Engine 211, Hamilton, Sharonville, Springdale. And reason why you see like Trenton and I'm sorry, that should be Monroe. So my apologies. Engine 62 is Monroe. And why you see some weird units is simultaneously to this incident was a multi-alarm fire in Woodlawn. So Woodlawn is burning down the Goodwill, which is a giant commercial building as well, working fire. And so that's stripping resources out of our region as well. So again, kind of a unique situation that we have two multi-alarm commercial structure fires, which has just wiped out our availability for fire protection in the region.
Hey, Trevor.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to, that slide covered it. Middletown and Trenton were in fact there.
Correct. So because as they start going down the run card, Sharonville's not available. This one's not available. So we got Engine 56 for area coverage. So 7Com is doing a lot of stuff in the background. And again, something that we often kind of forget about or gloss over is that there's 3 people working, one of which is assigned to the fire desk. So while we have this big incident going on, there's still traffic stops, there's still warrants, there's still a pursuit. And right, wrong, or indifferent, that's just the system, right? So while we're calling, requesting resources and running radio traffic and this and that, they're trying to get a hold of key holders. They're trying to get a hold of and backfilling and fulfilling our alarm assignments. So again, they do a really, really good job with that. So just, hats off to them. So we'll go ahead and listen to the commercial fire alarm, and then we'll listen to the structure fire call.
Westchester Police and Fire. Good morning. I'm operator. Address 987 Meridian Way.
I'm going to go ahead and rewind that since another run was going out. So here you go.
Westchester Police and Fire. Good morning. This is St. Life Safety Systems. I'm operator 11 on the recorded line. And we're calling to report a commercial.
No.
Address?
Which one? The new one? The one that's prepared.
Trevor, does that sound horrible to you? Because it sounds horrible to us.
Product number? 877 1624. Okay, we're going to need a key holder to respond if you get a hold of one.
Yeah, so not a great recording out of that guy. 7Com wears headsets so they can hear it a little bit better, but he's pretty muffled, right? But he's calling in, hey, there's a commercial fire alarm at Prologis. Simultaneously to that call, we got the 911 call. So we'll go ahead and play that one.
911 address of emergency. Yeah, this Keith over at the hotel is just fixed at 987 Meridian. We go, this Keith over, is this an emergency? Yes, it's 9287 Meridian. I got a fire over here. Okay, so there's an active fire? Yes. Okay, where's the fire at? It's in the row, over here in row trying to get the doors up, get the mayor out of here. No, if you open the door, it's only going to make it worse. Close the door? I do not, I want everybody out of the building. I don't want you to touch anything. I'm the only one in here. Okay, where is the fire at? It's in the west, northwest side of the building down in row 14. That helps you in. Okay, and you actively see flames? Yes. Okay, and you're the only one in the building, correct? I'm the only one in the building right now, yes ma'am. Okay, I want you to get out of the building. What's your name? My name is Keith Swenson. Okay, and you're an employee there? Yes ma'am. Okay, is this the best phone number, the 513-314-6800? You got it. Okay, all right, we have help on the way. Are you out of the building? I'm getting my way out. It's all the way up in the front, but yes, I can get out right here in the back. Okay. But
So, pretty cool thing that that 7Com did with this is, hey, don't open the doors. Chief Tully and a lot of us have done a really good job over the last few years educating like our police officers. Hey, when you're taking doors and kicking stuff in, like close those back, right? We'll see that on the Astor Park one here in a couple weeks. Our police officers did a phenomenal job on that one as well. But I think it's a really heads up that our 911 operators even telling them, hey, like I want to open these doors and get some of the smoke out here. Like, do not do that, right? So this was a really heads up decision there. So this is the building here. So a gigantic warehouse. We have Allen Road to the east. We've got Meridian Way here. And again, we've had fires in here before. We've actually had a reported fire in the building directly next to it to the west. And we've had 2 fires in this building because this is the old GM Auto Parts. And of course, Murphy's Law being that this building, these 2 buildings specifically, give us a giant headache because there's your access point, right? So it's a one-way in, one-way out for 2 500,000 square foot warehouses. It's actually 414,000 if you don't want to get specific. But 2 gigantic warehouses with a heavy fuel load that has one way in and one way out. So that creates water supply issues, that creates access issues, which we'll talk about as we go through. This is roughly where people position, again, not to scale. Obviously, Tower 73 is not, like 1/5 the size of this building. So this is roughly where people were positioned, and the fire was roughly in this space right here. So middle of the building, towards the west side, down on one of the dock doors, 60-something, which we'll hear as we go through. So here's the dispatch time of units. So it came in at 5:21 in the morning. So guys are still probably in the rack. Here's our elapsed time to response, right? So everyone out the door pretty quick. Tower 73, Medic 74, Medic 75 were above our 2-minute standard. So, again, just things to talk about and do, right? If, structure fire is ringing out, if you got to stop and use the restroom and this and that, like make it faster, right? So just understand that that's the, and also with that, we're going off the MDT times, right? So, did you hit the button? Did you forget to hit the button? There's all sorts of things that could happen here. I'm just pulling the raw data from this. So that's what the elapsed times are. So engine 71 arrived at 5:27:50. They took FDC, water supply, and then ended up as the RIC team. And that's just because of where that FDC sits based on the building. It's kind of a unique situation. So, you'll hear on the radio traffic, they were assigned fire attack, but they gave it to the 4s who arrived basically simultaneously. They arrived 4 seconds later, but were pulling up together. So the 4s took the fire attack, the 1s supplied the FDC, but because of where the FDC sits, and by the time that crew walked down, they ended up being 5th in. So it's just, it's a long trek and a long hike with all of your gear. So just kind of a unique situation that they had. The 3s married with engine 74 for fire attack, and then 2s and 5s completed search. And then we see Medic 74 with IRIC, Medic 71 with EMS and helping with water supply, and Medic 75 with rehab. So when we compare that to what our playbook looks like, it's almost right down the line. So the second apparatus married with the attack team and supplied the FDC. There was a little deviation with that just because the 1s did that. However, by the time they moved forward, they end up being 5th due. So heads up to job being able to deviate with that. This is a very simplified ICS chart for kind of what it looked like. I did not get a chance to take a picture of the command board, so my apologies on that. But because this came in at 5:20 in the morning, Chief Mainwaring was here. So Chief Mainwaring and Chief Tully rode together. That allowed Mainwaring to kind of run the operations side, which ended up being called Alpha. And then I arrived and I took over the RIC group. So that was kind of my role in that. And then we had some IMAT chiefs and stuff helping out in the background with the business owners and the fire prevention side. But this is a very simplified ICS chart for the operations. So I'm going to stop sharing this screen. Does this look, well, let me ask you this. Does this look kind of blurry or is this pretty clear?
For us, it's good. I would say the 3s are the ones that have the biggest problem typically.
Okay. All right, well, if it doesn't work, I'll see if I can pull it up another way, but this is the video here. We'll go ahead and play it out. So this is a security cam looking towards the southeast. And so we see our 911 caller getting ready for the day, sweeping some floors, no big deal. You'll see the lights kind of come on and off with his motion. And what I want everyone to look at is this area right back here. So we see this first kind of row of boxes. Look above that, right where my cursor is. Just keep an eye on that spot right there. Right about there. So you can see this fire's already been going. Now it's going up the rack storage right here. And this is in real time. So you're seeing pretty rapid fire progression, right? You're seeing a lot of fire development. So it's just taken right up off those boxes. It's starting to spread laterally. And it's starting to impact the product above it. There's your first sprinkler head that just popped. And so I'll just pause it right here and talk about, just as a refresher for a lot of people, what sprinklers do and don't do. So number one, there's not a whole lot of these fires in the country. We could actually probably send this video and this AAR out, publish a book on it, make a lot of money just because of this one incident. Because you don't get this kind of footage very often. So we're very, very lucky to have it. We got a pretty decent fire, right? So these racks, for everyone that was in there, right, those go up about 20, 30 feet. So you're looking at 20, 30 feet up. This fire's in the middle of the row extending. So this is a good fire, right? If we pulled up and saw this on the outside of a house, we'd be like, oh my God, that's a pretty good fire. Well, it's the same concept inside. So this is a big fire. It just looks small because relative to the 400,000 square feet of space, it's tiny.
Mel Hill, chest maze, engine 34, medic 71, 72-year-old female, Hill, chest maze, 7844, Glen Oaks, 7844 Glen Oaks Court, show across street to Ash Tree Drive, ESD at 407, timeout 920.
So not only do you have a pretty decent sized fire here, we also have the sprinkler system that's keeping it in check. And that is the key. A sprinkler system does not extinguish this fire. It might, right? If it does, terrific. But all it is doing is protecting the exposures in this case being the rack storage. So on sprinkler controlled fires, the fire department still needs to make entry. We still got to perform extinguishment because we got a pretty decent fire going. It's just not spreading. And that is exactly how that system is designed. So just as a general view, it is a sprinkler system is for fire protection, not for fire extinguishment. You, me, and everybody else that works for the fire department, we are fire suppression. This is a protection system. So
Max A1 clear around 21.
So we got a second head that's popped right now. This is about the time the 911 call
Clear
comes.
around. Max A1 and say for the front door's gonna be unsecured. It's gonna be that rear bedroom.
So again, fire's going. He's calling it in, and then he leaves. So all good there. So we'll go through our initial size up. Basically, there's nothing showing from the alpha side because, again, it faces Meridian Way. Everything was happening on the west side of the warehouse. As Chief Tully did a drive around 360, he found smoke from door 62, which is on the delta side. Again, a drive around 362 to sides. At no point are we going to run a mile around this entire building. One, be incredibly inefficient, and two, just take forever. So some of the actions that are needed at a commercial building fire is number one is that FDC, right? So we have a fire protection system in the building, then we need to supply that ASAP, which is exactly what Chief Tully ordered crews to do, so that FDC got supplied. At the same time, initiate a fire attack, but also what's burning, right? What is this thing? We have a ton of these warehouses within our jurisdiction, and the product is rotating all the time. Within District 1 alone, if you go down to, say, Crescent Park Distributions, which is this warehouse twice the size, you'll have basically every P&G product you can think of in that building at one time. Diapers, shampoo, toothpaste. But also, don't forget, like, hey, when you go to Home Depot and you buy a Milwaukee tool and those Milwaukee batteries, those are sitting in a warehouse somewhere. It might be in our town, it might be in another town, or it might be passing through with the logistics companies and trucking terminals that we have. So what is it that's burning? District 3 has a ton of like oil drums and tires and just all sorts of stuff with like those kinds of buildings. So what is it that's burning exactly? If we can figure that out, confirm all clears, and then establish a good water supply. And so needs, we're talking about roof reports, lines, supply, and the big thing is information, right? We need to know what is going on because unlike a house fire, which we kind of understand, like, okay, there's could be people in there, there's furniture in there, but there's a high life hazard. But we need to know here, like, are we dealing with hazmat? How'd this fire start? How many people's in the building? How long has this been burning? Like, there's all sorts of information. Is it affecting the roof assemblies because of the construction type? This is a tilt-up building, so there's a lot of things that go into that. So a lot of different needs that are totally different than residential firefighting. So we're going to go ahead and listen to some radio traffic. We'll let it play out for a little bit, and so everyone kind of gets an idea of what we were facing here.
Commercial structure fire battalion 70, engine 71, engine 74, tower 73, engine 111, engine 212, tower 113, engine 72, ladder 75, medic 71, medic 74, medic 75. All units respond for commercial structure fire 7287 Meridian Way, 7287 Meridian Way at Pro Lodges, cross street of Westchester Road and Allen Road, ESC 410. Use fireground 6, repeating fireground 6 at 520.
74 and around fireground 10.
74 clear out.
Agent 72 and out. Medic 71 around.
Clear and route this information. We had a alarm called in by the company, and then an employee called in on site stating they did have flames. It's going to be the northwest side of the building near row 14.
Battalion 70, I'm en route, clear on fireground 6. Clear on flames going. Agent 71 route.
Battalion 70 and 71 clear out.
Agent 71, close.
Clear out.
7 Thomas Chief 74, the fireground 6 or 10.
Fireground 6.
6, thanks. Chief 71's around.
Chief 71 clear now.
Engines are out, 5
Chief 72 clear now.
1070, I'm on scene. Right now, I have nothing showing from the exterior of a large tilt-up constructed warehouse. I do show the alarm strobes.
Same from your clear.
Command engine 74. I'm on the west side. There was nothing showing over here when you pull in. Oh, here I got it. 970 to all units. I do have heavy smoke on the interior of the structure. I'm at door 62. I'm going to check the other side as well. Engine 71's on scene.
Engine 71 clear on scene.
71, make your way to the west side of the building near door 62. That's where we saw heavy smoke on that side. 71 level 1. Did have a hydrant over there at door 62 that you can hit. Command, I'll be setting up the command post on the Delta side of the building. Delta side of the building is where the fire will be. That's also where the command post will be. Engine 74 is on scene. Engine 74, hit the FDC, please, and then bring your crew up to the Delta side.
Clear on scene.
Engine 71, we'll have Okay, engine 71, I'm clear. You're getting the FDC. Engine 74, bring your truck down to door 68. I got a hydrant right here, close to my vehicle. You'll be able to hit this. Engine 74, okay, door 68. Got a quick reposition. We'll be right around to the Delta side, the west side of the building. So that's true.
Clear on scene.
You're clear. I got a main door directly where my vehicle is parked that will give you access into where we have the heavy smoke. I also have a worker down here. Chief Manwaring is going to get some info from him. 73, level 1. 73, make your way down here. Spot up for the building and team up with engine 74 to get a line in place right here. 73, okay, go on Delta side. Okay, we got a fire in a rack storage system. The sprinkler system has dumped. Looks like it's contained to that. 74, 73, you'll have to make entry right here in this man door. Engine 72 is on scene.
Clear on scene.
72, make your way over here. I do believe we got second water on this side, if you can find that. One of these yard hydrants on the Delta side. Bring that up here as well. Have your crew start search. Thank you, clear on water. What side do you want? Medic 74, okay. Medic 74, come on up and set up EMS, or correction, IREX.
75 clear on scene.
35, okay. Ladder 75, make your way to the Delta side. Assist engine 72 with the search. We do have all employees accounted for per the worker on scene. Chief 74 is level 1. Nikki, what side do you need the water on? Chief 74, if you can make your way up here. Start accountability. Clear accountability, Delta side. Chief 74 is on scene. I do have Chief Manwaring is Alpha.
Chief 74 clear on scene.
That's 75 level 1. Was that unit on scene? X75. Medic 75, make your way up, set up rehab. Medic 71 secured FDC. Go ahead and charge the FDC. N71's working on connecting the FDC. Command from Alpha, I'm in place. Looks like I've got 73s into 74s here. That's affirmative. You have 74, 73 assigned to you. You're also going to have 72 and 75 assigned to you for a third. I have Medic 74 as IREX. Engine 74, go ahead and start the apartment ladder. Rank for command. Go ahead. Yeah, Brandon, we got fire about 15 feet up in one of these racks. Probably about 50 feet inside the door. It is sprinkler controlled.
Will advise. Will advise further.
Okay, you're clear. I got you under Alpha. He should be working his way in there. Go through him, okay?
Alright, sorry about that. Engine 71, we're attached with engine 74 at the door. Our engineer's got the FCC.
Negative, engine 71. I need you to be Rick. You're my Rick crew.
T70, I'll be en route from Meridian Way. Everyone's crew, Rick. Medic 25 Command, be advised, we just had a semi-truck without trailer drive over engine 72's 5-inch. Do you still want that hooked up or let it go?
Please tell me you're clear.
Go ahead and hook it up.
Clear, we'll still hook it up. Command Tower 113, go see. Question assignment.
Command Tower 113, make your way to the Delta side. You're going to be my first on deck crew.
7-com, T71, T71's on scene. Tower 113, clear on Delta side, on deck.
Please tell me when clearance means.
Command for engine T12 for book 1. Engine 212, make your way to the Delta side. Make sure you spot out of the way, and you're going to be on deck with 113.
Clear Delta side, spot out of the way. Charge the 5-inch for engine 72. Charge the 5-inch. Sergeant.
272, you're on scene.
Engine model. Engine 111. Level 1.
Okay.
T71, level 1.
Engine 111, make your way up to the Delta side. Keep your vehicle back towards the Alpha side. Bring your crew up. You'll also be on deck.
Alpha from 74. Go ahead, engine 74. Okay, I think we're talking about 2 pallets that were on fire. Most of the fire is out this time, contained to 1 row of rack storage. Feeling a lot of smoke, just because of the fire, but other than that, I think the active fire is essentially out. Okay, 74, you understand the fire is out? Confirm? Meridian Way Command.
Okay, go ahead.
Meridian Way Command requesting vent 21 from the city of Cincinnati to our location.
You're clear. Vent 21 out of 50.
Battalion 210, level 1. Alpha Command. Alpha to Command.
Go ahead, Alpha.
We got fire contained, about 15 feet up off the floor. And we are comfortable with current companies on scene for this. We're going to be overhauling and removing smoke for a while.
Okay, you're clear. I got Cincinnati's fan truck coming, so we can clear that out hopefully a little bit better.
That's clear.
I am clear that you're good with companies on scene. We don't need a second alarm.
270, I'm on the scene.
Please tell me clear on scene.
Command to Alpha, just let me know when we got all clear on our primary search.
Clear. 7-com Meridian Command.
Okay, go ahead.
7-com Meridian Command, fire under control at this time.
You're clear.
Command to Alpha.
Alpha, go ahead.
Command to Alpha, just letting you know, you have 113, 212, and engine 111. They're on deck for you. They should be waiting at that man door when they get there.
Okay, that's 113, 111, and 212.
Correct. Command to Alpha.
Go ahead for Alpha.
Oh, you are correct. Do we know what is actually burning in there?
I do not know what's on the pallet at this time. It is controlled, essentially out. What we're concerned with now is collapse.
Okay, you're clear. Is there any way we can get pictures of that for the investigation?
I don't think you're going to get much picture-wise. It's pretty banked down in here.
Okay, you're clear.
Engine 71, engineer to command.
Go ahead.
The hydrant here, we're hitting on the corner off Meridian. It is bad. The FTC.
Okay, you're clear.
Meridian command. Alpha this, engine 72.
Okay, go ahead.
We put out a request for Marshal 70 for fire investigation.
From Ripple, contact Mark 70.
Engine 71 to command. Did you want us to relocate to the hydrant by the FDC or stand by here? No, go ahead and hook up to a hydrant you'll be able to provide water to that FDC. Okay. Alpha to command. Go ahead. All clear on the Alpha. In the warehouse, we're still searching the office space. Right. I got all clear on the warehouse, still searching the office space. Go ahead. Requesting the sprinklers be shut off so we can take a look here, but keep a guy at the FTC so if we need to charge it back up. Okay, you got ticks in there and you don't have any heat source. It's very limited right now. We've got a good hose line in place. We're good with shutting that down, but keeping somebody there in case it flares up. Okay. Alpha ladder 75.
75, go ahead.
Can you give me a can?
Combat Yard Relay, we got an all clear on the primary warehouse. We are in the office space area searching that right now. Giving
Clear. Command Alpha, we're just gonna keep the sprinklers on for right now. Ensure that that's out for a bit. Okay.
75, the Alpha.
Go ahead.
All clear on the office space. We can go ahead and call all clear on the building.
There we go.
$71, 64-year-old female, possible heart attack. 9100 Westchester Town Center Drive, 9100 Westchester Town Center Drive. Control Cross Street, Center Point Drive, Center Loop Drive, ESD at 108, timeout 937.
All right, so we can
There, 937.
so you can kind of hear, our initial setup there. The fire attack went very quick, very well. Fire 15 feet up off the floor, and there's some kind of back and forth on, hey, when do we supply the FDC? When do we shut the sprinklers off? All that stuff. So just as we kind of march through here, working fire with a rack storage system is sprinkler controlled, but again, as we've talked about it, and you can see, it does not mean fire out, right? So we have a sprinkler controlled fire, keeping it from extending. We have a tilt-up big box warehouse, and again, the total square footage for the auditor site is 414,460 square feet. We controlled the fire with sprinklers and hand lines, so Engine 74 ended up deploying the apartment load, which was terrific. Typically, we think of these as big 2.5 fires, but based on the fire conditions present, they went with the apartment load, which was really heads up good decision by Engine 74. As they were kind of overhauling and doing the smoke and trying to get all that stuff out, they were monitoring for the stability of the product. That fire, as you can see, had impinged on the bottom side of that rack storage, and then with the weight of the water and the product, it was starting to lean. So there were signs of collapse there. So crews monitored the stability of that. The way they mitigated that was just being able to stay out of the collapse zone. So we think of a collapse zone as typically, per the textbooks, 1.5 times the height of the building. But very rarely do we talk about interior collapse zones. So those rack storage systems being 30 feet up with product on them, hey, don't be under them, right? So we can see that it's shifting to one side. Stay out of that area, and then you can use the reach of your hose stream to push that stuff down. They identified the product which was burning, which was soybeans.
Tower 73, with medic 113 to the TV, 9577 Baggett Road, 9577 Baggett Road, Suite 500, male ill, Joel Cross Street to Westchester Road and Global Way, ESD at 409, timeout 939.
So this ended up being soybeans that were burning. Basically, it was dry food product, right? So there was no hazmat to it. They just have bulk food product in these boxes. There was also some champagne that was on scene. We utilized vent 21 for ventilation, and it was a very early call. So right when basically they called fire out, so very early on in the incident, because we know it's going to take a while for that unit to mobilize and get up here. So they bring vent 21 and their ladder truck. So truck 21 comes with them. But again, it's coming out of Fairmount. So that's the west side of Cincinnati. at 6 in the morning, it's just going to be a minute, right? It's going to take 35, 40 minutes for that unit to get up here. And then we integrated business owners into the ICS structure by asking them, hey, what is burning? What can we do? And so that's a huge thing for a customer service standpoint. We don't really do this on the residential side because, you know, we're busy fighting this house fire. And then we have a recovery phase that we go into where we bring the homeowners into the ICS structure and what can we do for them for salvageable property. It's reversed in businesses because there's millions of dollars of product in here and we want to know what it is. So by asking business owners, hey, do you have all your employees accounted for? And they confirm that. Hey, what exactly is burning? And they confirm that. And then we were able to utilize them to get a forklift. So it ended up being Chief Schumann from, he's Miami Township, Hamilton County's chief, but formerly with Fairfield Township. He was on scene with the IMAT and he started driving a forklift around, unloading this product, which was the safest and best way to do that. So we need access to that equipment. That's how you integrate business owners. So as everyone's being toned out rapidly, we'll turn it over to Chief Tully for thoughts and comments and anything you want to add or discuss, sir.
Yeah, we'll probably go over this again after QIC when all the crews are back from all their runs. But the few things that I'd like to say for the recording are I wrote. Here comes another one. So that's going to be everybody.
Subject to teachers, Medic 75 with Medic 212, 34-year-old male and seizures, 8035 Misty Shore, 8035 Misty Shore Drive. Phil crosses to Ari Smith, Breakers Point, ESZ at 404, time on 942.
Did he mean engine 75 on that?
Yes. Okay. What I was going to say for the recording is a few of the things that I know that I may have messed up is I set up the command post. Hold on, I'll let them finish.
Available from the hospital response, place of usually better. Okay, you're showing around 943.
I set up command on the Delta side almost perfect, right? I relayed that and did that. But then I went ahead and assigned Alpha. It should have been Delta. And you even heard in that tape, I realized that I had messed that up, but I felt we were too deep into the operation and things were working fine through Alpha, that I didn't want to change it and confuse everybody. So that's something on my end that I need to correct.
Dispatched NS75 Liberty Township Medic 250 Short. Did you mean to send us to that call? I'll forward the Liberty Township Medic around to the PD with the semi.
I think they're getting mixed up.
Okay.
The other thing that I was going to say is, and I know this is going to come up in discussion, is
okay, N75 you can disregard.
When do you turn those sprinklers off, right? There's a lot of discussion on that. I haven't taken the big box class, but I know that the big box class teaches something like 120 minutes or 90 minutes for when it's appropriate to turn those off. I'll volunteer myself to do research on that because you guys know that I'm big on research and trying to figure out a kind of common sense approach to that, because I really think it's somewhere in between the two, and trying to figure out what the best practice is of how we should do that appropriately. So I know that, I know Dave, Chief Manwaring was inside and said he thinks we can turn that sprinkler off, but there's a little angst on my part running command because I know that these buildings had burnt down once they turned that sprinkler off too early. With that being said, there's a fine line of, at some point, you gotta trust the crews that are inside and know that they have that handled at some point. So that's where that angst and trying to figure out what is appropriate to turn them sprinklers off and when it isn't. So, I'll volunteer myself to look into that and come up with a better understanding for us in the future amongst all the radio traffic. I don't believe that first initial hydrant that I called out that was right in front of my car was hit. That hydrant wasn't hit initially like I had planned. They ended up hitting it as the second water source. And I don't know why, but they ended up using that water source from engine 72 as the main water source. And then they ended up back stretching to that other hydrant. So in any event, we did have two water sources. So I just called that out because it was right there. So keep that in mind as well. And I think that's all I had written down, unless you had something else, Trevor.
No, so you're absolutely correct. I'm going to actually stop my share real quick. I'm going to bring up a video from Walmart. And so for everyone's awareness, the big fear of turning off a sprinkler system is this right here. So this is 2 years ago outside of Indianapolis. This is a Walmart distribution center. So they had a fire inside. And if you look at the building, it's the same building. It's a tilt-up building with a decent fire inside. What that turned into was this. So they ended up losing a bunch of tractor trailers. It went through the roof. And so this is the fear of sprinkler buildings. This ran end to end in a 500,000 square foot warehouse. And while there was a lot of factors to this, one of the big glaring ones that came out of the incident investigation was the fire department turned off the suppression system before they had true fire control, because, hey guys, you get wet, it's smoky, let's turn it off. And then that's what happened. So sprinkler systems typically run 90 minutes with the building buttoned up. For us, the building was mostly buttoned up, right? We had a couple dock doors open, which is a good idea, especially from a RIT standpoint. But understand that this is the fear of sprinkler buildings. The big box class advocates for 90 minutes of sprinkler control, and for this exact reason. So I'll go back to the presentation here.
I mean, it also should be noted, though, that like part of the reason why Plainfield had an issue with that Walmart was because they shut the sprinkler system off, and then there was nobody there to turn it back on when it started to overrun that sprinkler system. I think, kind of like Chief Tully said, there's a fine line between when you trust your crews inside and when you let that sprinkler run.
Agreed.
I think part of that needs to be is that trusting the crews inside, saying, "Hey, look, we've got eyes on everything that's burning in there. We got fire control. We got knockdown. We're good with the sprinkler system being turned off."
So Sean, I'll add a little bit to that because.
Engine 75 with the
Dang it.
squad, 82-year-old female, trained all group home facility is 8040 Princeton Glendale, 8040 Princeton Glendale Road. Drove cross streets on Marketplace Drive and Beckett Center Drive, ESD 405, timeout 949.
Trevor, that's why I think we're gonna do this again after QIC when everyone's back. I think that's everybody except the twos.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say to that is, and Dave, I'm glad he's on. Dave, you heard in that radio traffic that he said the fire was out. Later, when they moved something, that changed, and he said that there's still fire on the inside and that conditions are gonna get worse again, so expect that. And that they're gonna have extensive overhaul, which is when I called for the second alarm. So you had already heard on the radio that he thought the fire was out and he's in there looking at it. But then they moved some, or I don't know what triggered that, Dave, you can speak to that, but he then again, if you listen further in that radio traffic, said that there was still fire running in there. Now, once again, if you have hose lines in place that are surrounding that, when is it still okay to make sure that those hose lines are there, especially if you leave someone at the riser? Now, I sent not only one person to the riser, I sent a whole crew with him just in case something were to go wrong with him at that riser, to ensure that if we needed that riser turned back on, I had a whole crew plus a chief that was responsible for that riser. So I just wanted to make sure I was extra cautious with that when we did decide to turn that off, and make sure that someone wasn't going to leave that riser and they were going to remain in place.
Hey, excuse me a second, guys. Can I cut in?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm wondering if we should hold off on this discussion until everybody's back. I'd be happy to come back on it whenever to talk about it. I think this is a great talking point for everybody, all the companies.
I'm not against it. I'll leave that up to Chief Tully because it'll be your crews doing it, back-to-back trainings. Chief Tully?
Sorry, I said something. I was muted. I said, yeah, I'm definitely going to review this again after QIC from that point where most people had to leave. But I thought you would probably want to keep going because I know you're recording this, or else, unless you wanted to record the other part as well.
All right, so here's what I'll do. I'll just stop the share. I'll pick it up right here after QIC. So we'll just pause the recording here and we'll pick it up after QIC.
Okay, sounds good.
Perfect. Thank you. Hey, will you let me know what time you're going to do it?
So QIC's at 1 day.